that feeling when everything looks fine on the outside, but inside you're stuck in this loop of tension, numbness, or just not quite here? It's like your body is still bracing for something, even though that moment passed long ago. If you felt that, I want you to know it's not all in your head. It's in your nervous system. And your nervous system isn't broken. It's doing what it learned to do to keep you safe. In this short video, I want to walk you through some simple but powerful starter steps for nervous system healing. We'll talk about what's happening when you feel overwhelmed, shut down, or disconnected. And I'll guide you through a short practice you can start using right away. You don't need to force anything. This work is about meeting your system where it is and allowing small, steady shifts over time. So let's start with the basics, because once you understand what's happening beneath the surface, things begin to make so much more sense. Your nervous system is always scanning your environment to figure out, am I safe? And depending on what it senses, real or perceived, it makes adjustments. This happens automatically without your conscious input, and it's called neuroception. You don't consciously choose to do this. It's your body acting instinctively to keep you safe. When things feel safe, you move into what's called your ventral vagal state. That's where connection, creativity, curiosity, and presence live. This is your natural baseline when the system's regulated. But when something feels threatening, your system can shift into sympathetic activation. That's your fight or flight mode. So you might feel restless, anxious, irritated, or like you need to do something right now. And if that doesn't feel possible, or if your body's learned that it's safer to shut down, you might drop into a freeze or collapse response. That's dorsal vagal territory. Low energy, disconnection, numbness, even feeling like you're floating outside yourself. None of these are wrong. They're all survival responses. But when we get stuck in them, or when our system doesn't know how to return back to regulation, it can start to feel like we've lost access to ourselves. So part of this work is gently teaching your body that it doesn't have to live in survival anymore. And we do that not by talking ourselves into calm, but by building experiences of safety in the body. That's where the shift begins. I want to spend a moment with the freeze response because it's one of the most misunderstood states and one of the most common in trauma. So first of all, freeze is not laziness, and it's not depression in the way we usually think of it. It's the body's emergency brake. It's what happens when neither fight or flight feel like options. So your system says, let's power down, let's numb out, let's go quiet. For a lot of people, freeze can feel like exhaustion that never goes away, like you're disconnected from your emotions or from other people. You might feel flat, like you're watching life through a thick pane of glass. And you might still function, go to work, take care of people, but feel completely removed inside. And that's hard, because from the outside, things can look fine, but internally, you feel like you're barely there, or like you're faking your way through connection. Here's the thing. If this is where you are, it's not your fault. Your body made a brilliant choice under pressure. It chose survival. Our work now is to meet that part of you with compassion,
not to push through it,
but to build the capacity to slowly come back, one safe moment at a time. Before we can shift anything in the nervous system, we have to start with safety. And I don't mean safety as a concept. I mean the actual felt sense of safety, what your body recognizes as okay, even just for a few seconds. A lot of us never really learned that growing up. Maybe there wasn't consistent care. Maybe the people around us were unpredictable or overwhelmed themselves. Over time, our bodies learned it's not safe to settle, it's not safe to trust, and it's certainly not safe to relax. And that wiring runs really deep. It's not something we can just talk ourselves out of. We have to feel our way into it, slowly, gently, and without forcing. That's why we don't start this work with big cathartic releases or trying to fix what's wrong. We start by noticing what feels just a little more okay, what brings even a moment of ease. Sometimes it's a warm blanket, a quiet room, someone's tone of voice. Sometimes it's nature or your breath, or simply placing a hand on your chest. Safety begins in these micro moments, and over time, those moments begin to stack up, and your nervous system learns it's okay to come out of survival now. So that's what we're building. It's not control, not perfection, just more access to safety, one experience at a time. So let's take a moment for a simple practice called pendulation. It's not about fixing anything. It's about allowing your awareness to gently shift between two places. One that might feel a little more activated or uncomfortable, and one that feels more neutral or at ease. So you can sit, lie down, or stand, whatever feels most supportive. And begin by allowing your awareness to rest on a part of your body that feels tense or heavy or disconnected. Now, there's nothing to do with it. Simply notice what's there and allow it to be as it is. Now, allow your attention to shift to an area that feels more stable or neutral. This could be the skin of your elbow, the tip of your nose, your left earlobe, even the nail of your pinky toe. Any place that feels a little more available. And spend a few moments there, simply sensing. Then you're going to allow yourself to pendulate, gently moving your awareness between those two places. There's no rush, no goal, simply noticing the contrast and staying connected to what's here. You might find that your system responds with a little more space, or maybe not. Either way, the noticing itself is the practice. One of the most important things I've learned in this work, and in my own healing, is that nervous system regulation isn't a one-time event. It's something we build slowly, through simple, repeated experiences. What actually supports the system isn't intensity, it's consistency. That's why short, doable moments of regulation are often more effective than long, occasional deep dives. You don't need a perfect morning routine or an hour of silence to do this. Most of the time, it's about weaving regulation into your existing life. So that might look like taking 90 seconds in the middle of the day to check in with your body. Just asking, what's here right now? Or returning to pendulation when you feel stuck, disconnected, or overwhelmed. You might start to notice what helps you feel even a little more settled. Maybe it's pressing your feet into the floor. Maybe it's the feeling of sunlight on your skin or the quiet hum of something familiar. These aren't small things. They're signals to your system that there's some ground available. Some people find it helpful to keep a journal, not to track symptoms, but to notice patterns. When do I feel more resourced? What tends to pull me out of regulation? And what helps bring me back? You're learning your system's language. And like any language, fluency takes time. So the invitation here isn't to get it right. It's simply to stay in relationship with your body, to explore what steadiness feels like without rushing and without needing it to stay. There's no finish line. What matters is that you keep coming back to yourself. What we touched on today is just the beginning. Understanding your nervous system and learning how to work with it rather than against it is a process that takes time, care, and curiosity. It doesn't always feel like progress in the moment. But even when you're noticing that you feel stuck or scattered, that's part of the process. That awareness is the shift. So if something from today's video gave you a new perspective or helped you feel even a little more connected, I'd love to hear what landed. You can share in the comments or simply take a moment to acknowledge it for yourself. And if you'd like more guided support, you can find links below to longer practices. Or join me live on Insight Timer, where we go deeper into this kind of work together. However you choose to continue, the most important thing is that you don't rush it. Stay with what feels doable. Stay with what feels honest. Your system knows the way. It just needs space to remember.